Hello and Minglaba, welcome to Myanmar Today. I'm Arker Kyaw with the latest news and reports from around Myanmar. Reporter Willison covered a story on Myanmar people rallying for State Counsellor stand at ICJ, and David Tanner got a report on Hluttaw discussing reliability of emergency call, and Willison again has a story on YCDC plan to turn wastes into fossil fuel and gas in collaboration with Japan and Poland. Dora Swayzin has a report on comics industry's trend and growth in Myanmar. Before we get to the reports, let's check on some local news. In local news, State Counsellor and Union Minister for Foreign Affairs Suu Kyi hears the first oral proceeding. State Counsellor and Union Minister for Foreign Affairs Suu Kyi attended the International Court of Justice at The Hague of Netherlands to hear the first oral proceeding of Gambia for provisional measures against Myanmar at 10 a.m. local time yesterday. The court proceeding was also attended by Union Ministers U Din, Myanmar Ambassador to Netherlands Uso Linhan, and members of Myanmar delegation, local and foreign lawyers for the Myanmar government, and members of legal support group. Myanmar people who came to support the State Counsellor in Myanmar expats in the Netherlands and other foreign countries cheered and gave her moral support outside the ICJ. FDI inflows into Myanmar surge in current fiscal year. The Myanmar Investment Commission (MIC) approved 41 foreign investment projects worth over $1.3 billion from 1st October to 30th November this year, which is an increase of more than $900 million when compared to the same period last year, according to the figures from Directorate of Investment and Company Administration under the Ministry of Investment and Foreign Economic Relations. The permitted foreign investments projects are expected to create up to 20,000 job opportunities for Myanmar citizens. The Southeast Asian country aims to woo $5.8 billion of FDI in the current financial year. The MIC expects the country will receive more foreign direct investment in the years to come. Myanmar U22 men's football team win bronze medal in penalty shootout. The U22 men's football team of Myanmar won the bronze medal after beating Cambodia 7-6 in a penalty shootout in the 30th SEA Games at the Rizal Memorial Stadium in Manila, the Philippines yesterday. The match, which ended 2-2 in 90 minutes, has to play a penalty shootout in which Cambodia missed a goal. In the gold medal match, Vietnam beat Indonesia 3-0 and claimed the championship title. That's all with the local news, and we're moving on to our first report. Thousands of people came out and showed their support to Suu Kyi in front of Mahabandula Park in downtown Yangon. This is to support State Counsellor Suu Kyi and her delegates who are currently in Netherlands facing the hearing at ICJ. Willison has a story.
December 10 is the day when State Counsellor Suu Kyi along with her delegates started facing ICJ in Netherlands. To show her support at ICJ, the people of Myanmar organized a series of events in support with her, and 10th of December, thousands of people took to the district of Yangon at Sule, gathering together in front of Mahabandula Park chanting, "We stand with Suu." The event was attended by Upsho Mindeng, Yangon Region Chief Minister, along with several other prominent regional governmental officials. Though it was a hot day at noon, thousands of supporters came from all over Yangon to support and stand with Aung San Suu Kyi. Speaking to MI Radio, Goza Mindeng, one of the participants said,
One of
the main reasons for me in taking part in this event is that I love Suu. At the same time, I also would like to stand up for the national interest, the truth and the justice for our nation. And by standing up and show our support like this, I hope we can together protect ourselves from being sued inappropriately by the international communities. And I would like to say to all my fellow citizens to stand up and support Suu.
Another enthusiast participant is Donnie Nilwin, who hails from Flying Township, also speaks to MI Radio and said,
The reason for me taking part in this event
is that I don't want any other country encroach the sovereignty of our nation, and I want to show that I will stand with Aung San Suu forever. As soon as I heard the news that Daw Aung San Suu Kyi would personally face the lawsuit in Netherlands, I felt I could not bear to see that. That's why I decided to do something that I can in support of her. And I pray for her that she will always be in good health and continue to do good for the nation.
In this event, other representatives of major religious groups in Myanmar such as Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, and Islam also attended the event, and each of them performed their prayers in support of Daw Aung San Suu Kyi. Speaking at the event, Dr. Hluttaw of Hindu representative said at the event,
Daw Aung San Suu Kyi Subhaste Panthanah Santu.
Firstly, I pray that the journey of Daw Aung San Suu Kyi to the hearing at ICJ will be a victorious one. Together with all the people in Myanmar, on behalf of Hindu community, I would like to state that we all stand together with people in support of Daw Aung San Suu Kyi. In this world, we are all the good sons and daughters of this earth. In other words, we are all the brothers and sisters. We, the Hindu community, would also like to urge the international community to do justice for the good of Myanmar people. We are here to break the dark by the light and win the bad by good, which is our main belief as a Hindu representative. That is why we all need to protect the dignity of our nation and stand together for the interests of our nation. I also pray for the peace and prosperity of our nation.
After the prayer by each of the representatives of Buddhism, Hinduism, Christianity, and Islam, singer Suu Kyi also performed, singing the song of love towards fellow human beings, and stated that if we all love one another, there will be no problem at all whatsoever. Therefore, loving one another is the most important thing in this world. The present problems in the world are the results of lack of love, as he said. This is Williamson reporting for MI Radio.
That's a story on Myanmar people rallying in support of State Counsellor stand at ICJ. Alright, we move on to the weather forecast now. In Yangon, we can expect a sunny morning with pleasant day with sunshine. It is warned that air quality would be unhealthy for sensitive groups. There will be clear and cool weather late at night. The temperature throughout the day will be in the mid-20s with sharp drop to 16 degrees Celsius at nighttime, and there is 0% chance of rain for the day with wind gusts at 9 kilometers per hour. In Naypyidaw, we can expect cloudy weather in the morning and sunshine throughout the day with the cool and clear night. The temperature throughout the day will be in the mid-20s as well with the wind gusts at 7 kilometers per hour. In Mandalay, we can expect sunshine and pleasant weather in the afternoon and throughout the day. Temperature throughout the day will be in the mid-20s with wind gusts at 9 kilometers per hour. Stay with us, we have another report coming up, and then we'll check on the stocks and currency exchange rates. During the 13th day meeting of the 14th regular session of the second time Hluttaw on the 10th December, Hluttaw discussed whether the respective department regarding the emergency contact number 199 has been prepared for immediate action plan responding to emergency calls in any case of public security threat. Reporter David Tanner got the details.
In many countries, the public switch telephone network has a single emergency telephone number that allows a caller to contact local emergency services for assistance. The emergency number differs from country to country. It is typically a 3-digit number so that it can be easily remembered and dialed quickly. In Myanmar, one of the important emergency telephone numbers to contact the police station is 199. During the 13-day meeting of 14th regular session of the second time Hluttaw on 10th December, it discussed whether the respective department regarding the emergency contact number 199 has been prepared for immediate action plan responding to emergency calls in any emergency contact number 199 has been prepared for immediate action plan responding to emergency calls in any case of public security threat. Raising his question over the issue, Dr. DJ, who is the Hluttaw representative from Mandalay Region Constituency 6, said,
My question for today is that when we dial 199, will there be a quick and sudden response in taking action for what the people have been facing in the case of emergency? As we all know, if there may be a life-threatening or suspicious act upon a person or a group of persons, taking care of that circumstances and stopping that as quick as possible should be the first priority as soon as we receive the emergency call. For that, Myanmar police force should be well prepared and have well-equipped weapons which are advanced enough to paralyze the threat, and transportation vehicles like a great quality motorbike and cars are a must as well. But most importantly, communication services and devices to keep in contact with system, and the caller is a must to keep in touch with the situation that they are in.
Dr.
DJ also added on the case with how people should be able to contact the emergency contact number anywhere, anytime, by telling the example in which people's lives could be saved if the emergency call has been reacted faster or be conducted sooner. In response to the question raised by DJ, Major General Aung Thu, Deputy Minister for Home Affairs, replied,
We are in the process of increasing the call centers for all the townships and areas where in the past can't access the emergency call. From 1st July 2016 to 15th November 2019, the 199 call center for Yangon has received a total of 1.4 million calls. The calls which are in urgent need for help were about 150,000 calls. So about 8,400 were information-given calls regarding the narcotics and drugs. The police force has taken action in 110,000 calls of legitimate offenses. Therefore, there were about 43,000 times in which the police went to the area of the incidents, but they were not serious enough as the calls informed. Moreover, the worst thing about the calls will be the case in which we have about 1.4 million prank calls.
According to Major General Aung Thu during the meeting, if people in case of emergency dial 199 to Myanmar Police Force, they have prepared to immediately react or respond in action by establishing a cooperation team. The team consists of Auxiliary Fire Brigade, District Police Officer, Township Police Officer, as well as Myanmar Police Station Officer. Reporter David Tanner reporting from Myanmar International Radio.
That's the report on Hluttaw discussing reliability of emergency call, and here we have the information on currency rates from Myanmar's central bank. $1 is at 1,506 kyats, 1 Chinese renminbi is at 214 kyats, 1 euro is at 1,667 kyats, 1 pound sterling is at 1,982 kyats, 1 Singapore dollar is at 1,107 kyats, 1 Malaysian ringgit is at 362 kyats, 1 Thai baht is at 49 kyats, and the Indian rupee is at 21 kyats. Gold is trading at $1,464. Silver is at $18. Brent crude oil is at $56. On the Yangon Stock Exchange, FMI is at 11,500, MTSH is at 3,850, MCB is at 8,300, FBB is at 23,000, TMH is at 2,850. You're with MI Radio's Myanmar Today. You can log on to our website at miradio.com.mm and catch all the great programs live on the website. We're also running on FM 96.1 in Yangon, 96.5 in Mandalay, and 96.7 in Naypyidaw. Or simply download our app so you can listen to our radio programs on the go. Well, we have more reports for you, and we're not going to keep you waiting, so let's get down to it. YCDC is now planning to turn the waste into fossil fuel and gas in collaboration with Japan and Poland. This is to solve waste problem in Yangon, which have been piling up for 20 years without proper maintenance and recycling. YCDC, at a press conference on 8th December, also stated that it will solve the waste problem of Yangon. Willison reports.
According to YCDC, which held its 10th press conference on 9th of December, it previously planned to solve the problem of waste in Yangon by producing electricity from the waste. But somehow the rate which YCDC wants to sell to National Grid line and the rate of electricity which National Grid can buy is much lower. Therefore, YCDC forfeited this plan. However, the problem is solving the waste of around 7 million people in Yangon, as the pile of the waste dumping area is increasing day by day and it is piling up increasingly. Therefore, YCDC is now looking for alternative plan to solve this waste problem by recycling the waste and produce fossil fuel and gas. Speaking at its regular press conference on 9th of December, Mangso, mayor of Yangon, said,
The waste of all the residents in Yangon has been piling up for 20 years without reducing it. The amount of recycled waste is very less, and the increasing amount of waste brings bad smell and negative impact to the environment. Most unforgettable one was when it burned down, which some people assume to be a better option of solving waste issue, but the truth is that was not a better option. In reality, the waste is valuable if we are to use properly in many alternative ways. As it was said by Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, if we just dump the waste without reusing it again, it is really a waste. But if we reuse it, it is not a waste anymore. While we were in the midst of planning to produce energy, now we are in the process of collaborating with Japan and Poland in order to implement the project.
According to the report, there is approximately 2,500 tons of daily waste in Yangon, and this is somehow a big amount. Initially, YCDC planned to produce electricity from the waste, but the plan was halted due to some issues in negotiating with National Grid for pricing. This is why YCDC is planning to change the project, producing fossil fuels and gas through recycling the waste. Speaking on how YCDC is collaborating with Japan in implementing this project, Mangso also explains.
Mainly, we are working with Fukuoka in this project, with which we have been working together for 3 years, and recently we also celebrated the 3rd anniversary at Mahabandula Park as Illumination Festival. Behind this Illumination Festival, there is so much more between Myanmar and Fukuoka, where we have a good relation for business, public relation, and other areas. The area where we work together mainly with Fukuoka is in waste-related issues. We are also working together with Fukuoka in bringing better solution for drinking water too, because Fukuoka has one of the most advanced water distributing systems in the world. And another reason for collaborating with Fukuoka is we see there will be rapid development happening in Yangon with tall building, which will be followed by water and electricity. There will be new city development plan, which will also need water and electricity. Now the Dala Bridge is in the midst of construction. However, how we expand the city, there will always be the need of water and electricity. But if we have enough energy and electricity, we can pump up water.
Japan has already opened the door for Myanmar in using human resources for Myanmar. It may be the reason why Japan is handling over so much of help and contributes to Myanmar in different forms. Meeting the human resources need of Japan may also become a solution for unemployment in Myanmar as well, which is good for both nations. This is Williamson reporting for MI Radio.
That's a report on why YCDC plan to turn waste into fossil fuel and gas in collaboration with Japan and Poland. Well, here's the last report for today. British Council has introduced a new collection of comics and graphic novels. The launching of the new collection and library talk on comics industry was held on 8th December at British Council. Laura Swayze is to report the current market of comics and the opportunities.
In the development of art in the worldwide, comics is one of the arts which is getting trendy and influencing the youth. Being illustrated in the pictures, the comics are highly demanded by the youths because it can entertain them. At the same time, giving serious and deeper meaning, the novels are also transformed into graphics. Myanmar audience is also eager to read more comics, especially which are getting popular internationally. Therefore, British Council has launched the new collection of comics and graphic novels. The library talk on the comics industry was held at British Council on 8 December.
The main purpose is we would like to publicize our new collection because we just developed a new collection, graphic novel and comics, and there will be we have about over 200 books, and the books are ready for loan study from today. So before this is the new collection, and before we put them out for loan, we would like to publicize we are, developing such kind of collection. And another reason is that we would like to talk about the international comic, and we would also like to talk about the market of the graphic novel in Myanmar and things like that. So we have invited 3 speakers. One is Mimone and another 2 speakers as well, and then they will talk about those kind of things, and they will give information to the young people that there are opportunity for the young people who would like to choose their profession as the cartoonist or illustrator or animator or filmmakers. It's very trendy. The graphic novel collection and the comics are getting more and more trendy in other countries, and we would also like to provide the same resources to our audience here in Myanmar.
In the discussion, the speakers talk about the current comics industry and give advice for the young people who want to start their careers in comics industry. The bigger the market is, the more opportunities are provided.
If
you look at the international comics market, you don't need to go far for DC Comics or Marvel Comics. Even the Korean and Japanese comics, which is called manga, are getting trendy and are influencing the youths all over the world. Their markets are huge, but for Myanmar, the comics industry is just in the stage of resetting. In the previous years, there was a specific level for our comic industry, but because of the hiatus period, we have to start it again. In the present time, there are many opportunities for animation or comics. Now, there are many studios established by the youths. Moreover, the other countries such as Korea have found the branch in our country, and our locals are producing comics for them. These companies can offer better income, so it becomes many opportunities for the comic writers or animators.
In Myanmar, there are studios established where the artists produced the characters for the outside companies. This outsourcing system is that the international companies provide the storylines and guidelines for the characters, which is produced by the local artists.
For me, I welcome the outsourcing system because from these outside international companies, we will be provided with better income and we will be able to gather more artists at one place, which can lead us to our way of making our own brand. So depending on the income, these international companies, as next step, we will be able to produce our own brand locally. Internationally, if a comic series have gained enough success, they make it into the film or animation. If these films or animations have got another achievement, the props in the films are produced as merchandise. This is such a wide market following the comics, but here in Myanmar, the artists are still struggling to present the artworks of their own. This is because the market has stopped for certain years. If the audience notice about that the artists are producing comics again, they will read more. If the readers' rate increase, our local market will develop like international market.
The local artists are striving to make Myanmar comics industry reach another level, and many youths are coming to the industry to initiate fresh and up-to-date products. That's all for now. This is Dora Switzer from MI Radio.
That's all the reports we have for today. We're now going to look into some international news here on Myanmar Today. The East Turkestan Islamic Movement, or ETIM, is designated as a terrorist organization by the UN. For decades, the group, which has close links with the international terrorist organizations, perpetrated countless terrorist attacks aiming to separate the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region from China. The movement has attempted to recruit people on a massive scale, spreading a radical ideology that continues to cause chaos in many countries around the world. In this exclusive CGTN expose, we show you never-before-seen footages, including interviews with the perpetrators and recruitment videos used by this Black Hand. Let's take a look.
Chaos was rampant in China's westernmost region. Violent attacks were targeting civilians of all ethnic groups. Explosions were frequent in almost all parts of the Uyghur Autonomous Region. Xinjiang became a battlefield in China's fight against terrorism. This program tries to get to the root cause. To bring out the truth behind the deaths and sorrow. April 30th, 2014, at Suu South Railway Station. A knife attack and a suicide bombing. According to the police, Ismail Yusuf was the Black Hand of the April 30th attacks. He used religion to recruit members, taking spiritual control over them. He then asked them to carry out violence while he hid outside the country. China's police say the April 30th attacks were typical in Xinjiang. The April 30th attacks in Urumqi have great similarity with the March 22nd terrorist bombing in Brussels in 2016, where coordinated suicide bombings occurred at transport hubs, killing over 30 people. ISIL claimed responsibility. Experts say terrorists are learning from each other. Inspiration for terrorism was easy to find in Xinjiang. In 2012, a bomb plot on a flight from southern Xinjiang's Hluttaw to Urumqi was crushed. ETIM extremists attempted to ignite explosives on the plane, like the 9/11 terrorist attacks on the United States in 2001. Crew and passengers eventually managed to gain control of 6 terrorists. Some Western media have challenged China, saying Beijing exaggerates the threat from the ETIM. The Chinese government has rejected these allegations by releasing more evidence. The Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region is a vast, sparsely populated area that shares borders with 8 countries in Asia, including Afghanistan and Pakistan. The East Turkestan Islamic movement was reportedly founded by Hasan Maksu, a man from Xinjiang's Kashgar in 1997. The roots go back to the end of the 19th century. Pan-Turkism and Pan-Islamism thoughts were introduced into Xinjiang. Separatist forces politicized this term to create an independent state, the so-called East Turkestan, to split it from China. Since its establishment, the ETIM has maintained close ties with international terrorist organizations like Al-Qaeda. Hasan Maksu was killed by Pakistani troops in the same year, but the terrorist activities have continued. Throughout the years, the ETIM has taken credit for a series of attacks in several Chinese cities. These include the 2013 Tiananmen Square car bombing and the 2014 slashing and hacking at the Kunming railway station in southwest China. Chinese police have found evidence that the ETIM has received significant support from Al-Qaeda and previously from Osama bin Laden. It has sent its members to Al-Qaeda training camps. Upon completion of training, some of the members have returned to China to conduct terrorist acts. In 2013, Akbar went to Syria for the so-called jihad and received 3 months of training. He learned how to make explosive devices. He was then sent back to Xinjiang. China has deployed special task forces to crack down on what it calls the 3 evil forces, namely extremism, separatism, and terrorism. Chinese police have identified Xinjiang as a key battlefield.
You're with MI Radio's Myanmar Today. Thanks for joining me. This is Arker Kyaw. Have a good day. Goodbye now.